This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
So, Nate, thanks for coming on a day early today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me, and appreciate you having me the whole year. It's one of the highlights of my week to hop on with you guys. Your show is awesome, and I like being a small part of it, and appreciate you helping me spread the word about Arkansas high school football.
So set the scene for me right now. Who is already a state champion, and then what do we have tomorrow?
Well, we've got we had 5. So in 8-man we had Rector. In 2A we had let's see. Let's start with 7A. In 7A we had, because that's in the coverage area. You had Fayetteville won, and they're undefeated, state champion, the first time ever, and that was huge for Casey Dick and company. 6A you had Greenwood, another coverage area team, and a team that we thought would win from the beginning, and they did a good job in that game, ran the football more than they thought they would. Little Rock Christian was giving them the run, so they took it, and Kane Archer passed for under 200 yards, but ran for 97 and showed how versatile he can be. 5A Little Rock Parkview beat Shiloh Christian handily, and that was a game that I thought Shiloh would be more competitive in. But I've said it on the show a couple times that I didn't think that Parkview nobody would come within 2 touchdowns of them, and Shiloh played as hard as they could. They did a good job coming back against Pine Bluff the week before, but they just weren't any match for them. But I think Parkview is a nationally ranked team. They compare well to the Bryant team, from a few years ago. It's their 3rd championship, and Austin Ledbetter, who's you see on the mound at Razorback Stadium often when he was the quarterback. No one touched them, and I think that's kind of how this has been, with this Parkview team. So yeah, it was great, and then for them, and then in 2A you had Bigelow beat EPC, and Bigelow in Central Arkansas, or in that Perryville Conway area, they're coached by a guy that played there and played for his dad, so very special for Luke Starks to lead them. And they've been a team that has won several titles in other sports and always was good in football but couldn't win, in the postseason. So kind of got that albatross off of his neck. And so it's been, the first weekend was good, but, the Fayetteville-Bentonville game was really the only – well, the 8-man game was overtime. So that was a good game to start off. And then you had the Bentonville-Fayetteville game was the most competitive 11-man game, kind of a defensive battle. But we're hoping for 2 games on Saturday that are pretty competitive.
So which game are we getting to first? 3A championship? You take it.
Yeah, we'll start off. I'm sorry, Phil. What was that?
No, go ahead. I said, which game you want to start with for tomorrow?
Yeah, 3A. Yeah, we'll start with 3A. First of all, when you look at the forecast, they've been talking about some, lightning. In the last couple of years, we've had some weird weather. Last year, there was a 6-hour delay in that 4A game that's in the same time slot. So I think everybody is kind of keeping their eye on it. But the closer we get to Saturday, the more it sounds like that some of that weather could be to the southeast and could be later in the afternoon. So it sounds like it's going to rain, but hopefully we can avoid the lightning. It's set for a noon start. We've got Boonville and Prescott, and that could be a really good game. And so hopefully it starts off and continues without interruption but both teams should be ready for a wet football, I think. And I really think that helps Boonville the most, because they're going to run the football 90% of the time, even though Jace Washburn has the quarterback has thrown it more than they have in the past. But big old Dax Goff, you've heard me mention that that guy numerous times. Big linebacker, running back, rugged guy, runs the football well. And Rylan Reed, another running back, they run it a lot. And if it's a wet, day, could help them. Pierce Yates is the quarterback for Prescott, and they've got athletes all over the place. He's a good quarterback, committed to play Kansas State baseball. And so it's a contrast in styles. You've got the kind of slobber knocker, smash mouth, Boonville style, run it down your throat, and Prescott's going to pass the ball a little more, try to get it in space to some of their talented skill guys. And both these teams, their storied tradition, they make regular trips to Little Rock. This could be a really good game. I hope the weather is not too much of a factor. There's not delays, because last year, that was just horrible. When it took 6 hours to complete that game. You had guys down there in the dressing room that were hungry. They big teenage kids. You eat a pregame meal like at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's like 4. You're still not playing, and they're texting their parents to get them a hamburger, hot dog, or something from the concession stand. So I don't think even if we have a delay, it'll be that long. But I'm hoping that all that weather is away from us, and War Memorial is nice and calm. We get a good game in here. And then 4A, you've got Harding Academy versus Rivercrest, and Harding Academy, ruled 3A, won 3 championships, and then moved to 4A last year, lost to Malvern. I talked to their talented wide receiver, Wyatt Simmons, who's committed to Arkansas. He said that, when you lose, they're not used to losing in a title game. They beat Malvern this year to get to the semifinals. Really tough road for them. Had to win at Elkins, who I think in a lot of years would be a state champion. They were undefeated going to that game, had to go to Elkins to win. But Simmons said that losing that game was really key to this year's run, because he said it left a bad taste in all their mouths. They worked really hard in the offseason to get back here, and they're back facing a Rivercrest team who's very athletic, similar to Prescott. Kobe Turner, his older brother Cam, was a really good player for them, plays multiple positions. That's just what Kobe does too, and can hurt you in a lot of different ways, lines up in different spots. So that's going to be a guy they have to keep an eye on. But I just think Harding Academy they're loaded everywhere. Good defense with Simmons leading the way, 6'3", 215 linebacker. Expect them to win it again.
Simmons he's a Razorback commit, right?
He is, yeah. And just cut from the same mold as Matt's old teammate Jeb Huckabee. He played 2 years in the NFL. He's now a FCA director, area director in Northwest Arkansas. And his dad coached Harding too. So Harding is playing for a national championship berth in Searcy at 11. Then they play, the high school game at 6:30. So Wyatt's going to be there supporting his dad. But cut from that same kind of cloth. Jeb was a soft-spoken, guy on the field. He was tough and mean, but a good kid. And Wyatt, I talked to him for about 20 minutes this morning at War Memorial while they were getting ready to warm up, and you could tell he's just a gem of a kid. Gonna do whatever the coach asks. Gonna give 100% and conduct himself in a good way off the field. He said that it bothered him and his dad, the criticism that Pittman went through this year, but they both thought he handled it well, and he never wavered from his commitment. This is a guy that he just thought he was going to be a Division II recruit for his dad, and he put a highlight film together in May, and he put it out on Twitter, and within 24 hours, he's got some of the biggest programs in the country offering it. It was like he couldn't believe it. He's just, he hadn't gotten around to it, and he hadn't gone to any camp, so people didn't know him. But he's 6'3", 215. He can move. Really strong guy. Good football IQ as you'd expect from a coach's son. But I mean, I think Arkansas is getting a real good one here. I mean, you cannot put a price on loyalty and also good conduct. I mean, just being a good citizen. I mean, there's a lot of good football players, but guys that are he's a typical Arkansas kid that wants to play for the Razorbacks and is going to do everything he can to help them win. And, there may not be enough guys on that team like that. And you've got a good one there that's eventually going to be a leader of your program.
Yeah, Jeb Huck was a great teammate. Jeb's the type of guy that you want your daughter bringing home to. He's a good dude. Yeah, absolutely.
And Wyatt reminds me. I've had a little bit of dealings with Jeb. Their situations are eerily similar. Growing up on the Harding campus, their dad's coach, and Harding is a Christian school, and those kids, a lot of them that I've talked to, there's something different about them, and you like having guys like that on your football team. I mean, you knew that you could look to him; he was a good example, and Matt, and that's how Wyatt is on this Harding Academy team. The guys look to him. He's doing the right thing. And then eventually, he goes to Arkansas. He gets to be, entrenched in that program. It'll be the same way for him, I think, there.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.